Today I'm going to be watching this video. It's called Poland is doing what Putin feared the most. So yeah, I've watched quite a few videos about the Polish military and its response to what Putin's doing in Ukraine and talking about doing to other countries including Poland. So let's watch this, see what's happening.
Imagine you're Russia. You're sitting in Moscow, sipping tea, or let's be honest, vodka straight from the bottle, and plotting your next move. You've got plenty of neighbors, but which one makes you lose the most sleep? Not Latvia, whose entire army could probably ride a single Moscow bus. Not even Finland, with its endless forests, saunas, and enough artillery shells to turn St. Petersburg into a ski resort. No, the neighbor that makes Russia twitch every time it sneezes is Poland, and Moscow has very good reasons for that. Poland and Russia have been locked in a centuries-long rivalry, a love-hate relationship without the love. Back in the 1600s, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth wasn't just a regional power, it was a superpower. At one point, Polish troops marched right into Moscow, camped out in the Kremlin, and said, "This is ours now." Imagine the humiliation. For Russia, that moment has never been forgotten. From then on, the two have been at each other's throats. Poland was carved up in the partitions by Russia, Prussia, and Austria. In 1939, Stalin teamed up with Hitler to tear Poland apart again. After World War II, the Red Army liberated Poland, which in Soviet speak meant sticking around for another 40 years. For Moscow, Poland has always been more than just a neighbor. It's been the battlefield, the buffer zone, and the stubborn rival that never disappears. Now let's talk geography. Poland sits on the North European plain, a flat stretch of land that looks less like a country and more like an invasion highway. Napoleon stormed through it. Hitler's panzers rolled across it. Every Russian general knows the route by heart. And then there's the Suwałki Gap, a narrow 65-kilometer corridor connecting Poland to Lithuania. It looks tiny on a map, but it's probably the most important stretch of land in Europe right now. If Russia moved from Belarus toward Kaliningrad, they could cut off the Baltic states from the rest of NATO. For Poland, defending that gap isn't optional, it's survival. For NATO, it's the difference between unity and disaster. But here's the plot twist. Poland isn't the same Poland of 1939. This time, Warsaw isn't waiting to get flattened. It's hitting the gym, bulking up, and buying every shiny new weapon it can find. Today, Poland has around 170,000 active soldiers, with plans to grow that to 300,000. That's more than Germany, more than France, and roughly the same size as the entire British Army and French Army combined. And unlike some of its neighbors, Poland doesn't just talk about defense spending, it actually does it. Over 4% of GDP goes straight into defense. That's more than double NATO's target and even higher than the US. And the shopping spree? Let's just say Poland went full add to cart. From South Korea, 1,000 K2 Black Panther tanks and 672 K9 howitzers. From the US, 250 Abrams tanks, 96 Apache helicopters, 32 F-35 stealth fighters, and more HIMARS launchers than Russia ever wanted to see. Add to that Patriot missile batteries, Sky Saber systems, and F-A-50 jets, and you're looking at what may soon be the most modern, heavily equipped land army in Europe.
Is that what the plan is, to be the most equipped army or military in Europe? Like, it definitely seems like it, like so much new equipment. What do the Polish people think about that? I mean, such a high percentage of spending to GDP, or defence spending, sorry, specifically. Are Polish people happy with that because of the threat of Russia? They think it's worth it? I know, like in a lot of countries, even like America, for instance, there's a large number of people who are not happy. They think that money could be better spent on other things, but because the rest of Poland is working so well, like good healthcare, education, and things like that, I guess Polish people probably don't mind spending so much on their defence. Is that the case, or is there people who are against it, people who want to spend more?
Now, let's compare. Germany, Europe's economic giant, currently has around 183,000 troops. But here's the kicker. Germany has fewer than 300 Leopard 2 tanks operational. Poland, once it finishes its deliveries, will have nearly 1,500 modern tanks. 5 times Germany's number. In fact, if the trend continues, Poland won't just have a bigger army than Germany, it'll have a bigger one than Germany, France, and the UK put together. For a country of 38 million people, that's not just impressive, that's game-changing. Now, what about Russia? On paper, Russia has a massive army, but when you zoom in on its western military district, the part that actually borders Poland, the story changes. Before the Ukraine war, Russia had around 300,000 troops stationed there. But after 2 years of heavy fighting in Ukraine, those numbers have been gutted. Equipment losses are catastrophic. Russia has lost over 2,500 tanks in Ukraine, and many of those were T-72s and T-80 that Poland itself used to have. Ironically, Poland is now replacing its old Soviet gear with brand new Western tech, while Russia is digging T-55s out of museums and sending them to the front. Then there's the Ukraine factor. Since 2022, Poland has been Kiev's biggest ally. They've sent T-72 tanks, MiG-29 fighters, Crab howitzers, and billions in aid. They've taken in over 1.5 million refugees and turned their highways into NATO supply lines. Every Javelin, every Leopard tank, every HIMARS system going to Ukraine passes through Poland first. To Russia, Poland doesn't look like a neighbor. It looks like NATO's warehouse, shipping department, and delivery service all in one. And let's not forget energy. For decades, Russia used gas pipelines like a political weapon. Poland saw it coming. They built LNG terminals, connected to Norway's gas supplies, and invested in renewable and nuclear projects. By the time Russia cut off Europe's gas, Poland was already prepared. While Germany scrambled for alternatives, Poland simply shrugged and carried on. For Warsaw, energy security is part of national defense, another reason Moscow can't push them around. Of course, war isn't just tanks and jets anymore. Russia constantly tests Poland with cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, and hybrid warfare, like Belarus funneling migrants to the Polish border in 2021 to create chaos. But Poland's response has been characteristically stubborn. If there's one stereotype about Poles, it's that once they dig their heels in, good luck moving them. And that resilience is something Russia knows it can't break easily. Then there's politics. Polish leaders have made it their mission to be the loudest anti-Russian voice in Europe. They lobby NATO for more troops, push the EU for tougher sanctions, and remind everyone, loudly, that they warned about Russia long before 2022. If Europe were a classroom, Poland would be the student in the front row, waving their hand and yelling, "I told you so," while Germany and France pretend to look busy. So why?
True, I mean, it's like, what do people in Poland think about Germany, for instance? Because, like, not only is Germany kind of leaving the responsibility to Poland to build up their defence and not really take much responsibility, but they were also buying gas still off Putin after the invasion of Ukraine. Like, they talk a lot, but don't seem to act. What do Polish people think about the German politicians or Germans in that
Does
respect?
Russia watch Poland so closely? Because Poland isn't just another neighbor you can ignore across the fence. It's NATO's frontline shield, Europe's fastest growing military power, and a historic rival, Moscow, has never been able to fully bend. For centuries, Poland was the chessboard where empires clashed. But today, it has flipped the script, from pawn to fortress, standing tall between Russia and the rest of the West. When Moscow looks westward now, it doesn't just see the wide, flat plains that armies once marched across. It sees a wall of steel and firepower, thousands of modern tanks, squadrons of stealth jets, rows of rocket launchers, and NATO troops dug in across the countryside. It sees a country that has taken every invasion, every betrayal, every occupation in its history, and turned it into a national mission statement: never again. And perhaps most dangerous of all, Russia sees something it can't measure with satellites or spies: Polish resolve. That stubborn streak, that cultural muscle memory of survival, is what makes Warsaw impossible to intimidate. Poland has turned its hard-won lessons into a doctrine, one that Moscow can't simply bomb away. That's why Warsaw will always be in Moscow's crosshairs. Not because Poland is weak, but precisely because it has become too strong, too loud, and too central to ignore. In Moscow's eyes, Poland isn't just arming itself, it's reshaping the balance of power in Europe. Every new tank delivery, every NATO battalion stationed on its soil, every fiery speech from Warsaw chips away at Russia's old vision of Eastern Europe as its playground.
Yeah, man, another like real positive video for the Polish military, but obviously it'd be better if there was just no war at all. But with Putin and Russia making these threats and just continuing that war, like it's just good to see Poland. Like when you see the numbers, it's quite amazing, like how strong Poland will be compared to these other European countries, arming so fast, buying so much equipment, making itself so much stronger, not relying on any other European country, and just a great thing for the rest of Europe that they should be obviously taking note and trying to replicate that. But will they? Won't they? It looks like probably not. But yeah, you can tell me what you think about this. Thanks.